Morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Dream Queen. So I apologize ahead of time for the phone moving so much. I'm just holding it. Sitting outside on the porch. This is pretty much what I do every morning when I wake up to kind of just take in the fresh air and start my day. And I kept on feeling this push to share this. So I had posted a video yesterday in regards to how I feel my journey through the dark night of the soul has started. When it, in the aspect that it started with self-image, and I didn't realize it at the time. But since then, I have been working a lot on healing myself from the inside, healing my inner child. And a lot of things that I was even unaware of had presented itself and have basically shown me a lot of things about myself, a lot of things that I had rooted deep down that I wasn't even aware of. So with that being said, yesterday I had a conversation with a family member. And, I share this. It's not because I think, that I'm better than anybody or anything like that. I'm just trying to share my experience with people so that they can try to understand like what's going on. My hair is like all sorts of crazy. Just waking up. Anyways, it's like 5 something in the morning, guys. So just chill out a little. Anywho, so there was some things that were said at a gathering, let's put it that way, about myself, about me, and what what I was going through when I had to leave work. Now, if anybody knows me, if anyone has ever followed any of my Facebook or my Instagram pages when I had them, my job was basically my life. I defined myself as a nurse. Helping people has always been a passion. So when I had the chance to find a job that allowed me to learn, because I crave knowledge, and where I met so many different types of people, and doing something that I feel that I love, and I still feel that I still feel like I love what I did. But I think I loved more the fact that I was able to interact with people, because when I think about it, a lot of the time when I used to have conversations with people, it had nothing to do with the type of work that I was doing. It had more to do about their personal lives. I know, Mama. It's one of my dogs is like hungry. Yeah, your food is calling now, Mama. So anyways, so now I was given a year to prepare myself mentally before I had to leave work. I'm not exactly sure if my doctor thought I was going to be able to last a year or not, but that was the time frame she had given me. Like everyone else, I decided that I was not going to prepare because I was tough, I was strong, and I was going to be able to stay at work. I'm like, what is she talking about? Long story short, so tired. I had to leave work, and my entire world came crashing down. I was in complete, deep mother effing depression. I was rearranging my house, especially the kids' room, 24/7. You would walk into my house and it was either completely spotless clean or a complete chaos where everything was taken out. I did not find what to do with myself. And I kept telling myself that if I fix this and if I fix that, if I reorganize that, I was going to somehow feel better, which obviously I didn't. After that period of time, then came the part where I was in bed all the time. And then I started to reevaluate, why was I allowing myself to be identified by a title given by somebody else? When I started to look at the fact that I loved more the fact that I was interacting with people versus the actual job that I was performing, even though I gained a lot of knowledge about, stuff. I not easily, I should say slowly started getting out of that depression and started interacting with people again in a small matter. Like, when I went to the dog park, when I would go to Walmart. And the more that I allow myself to accept the fact that my career as a nurse is over because of my medical condition, I was getting the same satisfaction by just going to Walmart, by just going to, Stop and Shop. Anywhere I would go, I would attract people that still needed that help, that sense of wanting to talk to somebody, that sense of, just connecting with another human being at a human being level without having the prejudgment or anything like that. So I continue, slowly and stuff like that, but I was still hesitant, very, very hesitant, very fearful. And that's when I started to work on me internally. So when I would start feeling certain ways, I'm like, why do I feel like this? Or why is this coming up? And I would sit and I would, pray, and I would cry, and I would just sit down and just kind of wait for guidance, wait for something to trigger me where it's like, oh, whoa, like that happened when I was like 6, that happened when I was like 5. And I started dabbling in meditation, like trying to heal my inner child. And it took me a while to find a form that works for me, and I'm glad that I did. So I tend to listen to like nature soundtracks. So like waterfalls, or when I go to the forest here close by, I record like the waterfalls, like different areas and stuff like that. I like the sound of rain. I like the sound of thunder. I like nature sound just in general. So I would put nature sound on, which I do pretty much every night. And as I would lay down, I would start just kind of like talking to myself inside my head, like, what is it, God, that you want me to let go of? And sometimes it wasn't even what I was thinking. And as I continued to go along that path, more and more and more and more things were being shown. Okay, why do I say that? Fast forward to today. And I mean, there's a lot more to that, and I'll make a video like about the whole work situation and how I started with my inner child healing and stuff like that. But last night I had a conversation, and I thought about it, how to approach it, because I don't want to make anybody, how can I put it? I want my words to be understood, and I don't want my words to be taken out of context, because that is something that I have an issue with, I guess. What I say is not really what I'm trying to say, is what people say. I don't know. But, there's still healing there that I have to do. I have tried doing some healing in that, but there's obviously certain things that I guess I'm not ready consciously for, which is fine. Because who was it? I don't remember. Where was it that I read it or saw it? Where it says people can only understand from their perspective. So it's not so much about what you say. It's about where they are in their healing process, that they're going to be able to understand what you're trying to say. There's actually a quote. What is it? I have it. It says, I stopped explaining myself when I understood people only, what is it? Yeah, people only understand from their perspective. I think that's what it was. Anyhow, I'm not very good with memory stuff like that. So I approached it, and I was like, and I told the person, I was like, why is it that certain things were said about me, but the person has never approached me? And the answer was, you are not approachable. Everybody is afraid of you. Everybody is fearful to say certain things because of the way that you react. And I'm like, Okay. And I understand where that's coming from, because when I was going through that stage where I was in that area where I was so focused on what I thought I had lost as far as work, you could approach me, but you were gonna get the raw me, which is what you get all the time. But that me at that time was hurt. And as much as I tried to explain it, people couldn't understand it because they weren't going through it. So I kind of started to shut myself down and like kind of shut everybody out, because instead of getting the support that I wanted, instead of getting the support that I needed or that I felt that I needed from others, I was getting judged. I was being threatened that, they were going to take my kids away, and that, you know, and I'm sitting here like, have you even taken a moment to think about what I've gone through? Because whenever I approach people that are going through certain situations or doing certain things, even before any of this, like even when I was still working, even before everything, I would always sit down and think like, but how do they feel? But I would constantly do that, and I felt like nobody ever thought that way about me. So then I felt that if I spoke to people and I tried to explain things to them, maybe that would switch things around, but it didn't. It was just more of like, she's going cuckoo. So, you know, things about the past, and it was, I don't want to use the word attack, but the conversation went from me asking why I wasn't approached personally about the situation, and why, if it was a concern to that person, they went ahead and said it to a third party. So we went from that question to the answer being about how I'm not approachable, about how I am so mean, about how I'm an ogre. I've been called so many names, it's like whatever. How I am this, how I am that. And to be honest with you, if this conversation would have been held even a year ago, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it would have blown up into like World War III, literally, because I would have been so holding on to, my God, you're attacking me, and I'm like on the phone, and I just started smiling, and I'm like, I was like, okay. I was like, I understand what you mean. And I was like, but if you still feel like that, that has nothing to do with me. I've made amends with certain things about our past. I asked you for forgiveness. Whether you give it to me or not, that's not my business. I have asked myself for forgiveness, and I have healed that part of myself. Now these two are a couple. So if he feels that he cannot approach me in regards to something, when you're the one that's related to me, and he's not approaching me because of the way that I treat you, or that I used to treat you, let's put it that way, then he is not seeing things from an objective point of view. He is seeing things from your perspective, from your point of view. He is choosing to see what you say, not the entire picture. And then at that point, yes, I understand that he wouldn't approach me. But for somebody that I've known for over 10 years, I feel that if you and I do not have any bad blood, if you and I do not have a history of arguments or anything like that, and you were genuinely concerned about a year and a half ago about something, then why couldn't you approach me? Because whatever happened between me and my family member has nothing to do with you. That was something that me and her had to heal. It was something that me and her had to go through. It was something that me and her have to still learn from, because things are obviously still not let go. But what I'm trying to say is, sometimes we tend to hold on to things, or we tend to make judgment on a person based on their relationship with somebody else, when in reality we do not know what those two people went through, what those two people have gone through and where the relationship was broken or where it has to be mended or anything like that. But because we are in a relationship with one of them, we choose to see everything from just that one point of view. And when we do, then we start to hinder other relationships, and we start to hinder relationships in general. And what that's going to do is cause a big drift, because it wasn't the only thing that was said. There was something else about somebody quoting me on something that I have always spoken about, workouts and things like that. And she seemed to be more upset about somebody quoting me, which I don't think was a bad, in my opinion, it wasn't a bad thing, because she was just saying something that I had explained to her when it came to exercise and, eating clean. Not eating clean in the sense that you don't eat meat or anything. I'm just saying, like, eating healthy, like actually fueling your body to survive, not indulging in crap just because, basically. And seeing what attachments you had to food, when it was really more of a psychological or emotional thing. So she was offended about me being quoted on that, but then she was actually prideful, because she said it with a smile about her partner saying certain things about me. And I'm just like, but why? And then it is one of those things like, okay, do I say something or do I not say something? That's what I was struggling with yesterday, because when you are healing, when you are going through this process of trying to heal yourself, like really, really heal yourself, people are expecting you to not say anything. People are expecting you just to let it go. And I have been saying this for years to my family members. You cannot let go of something if it's not brought up to the surface. You cannot heal something if you first don't acknowledge that there's something to heal. If you lie to yourself that it's all somebody else's fault and you take no responsibility with that as well, things have to be brought up to the surface. Things have to be spoken about, because the thing is that then we leave way too much to assumption and to different interpretation. So if we sit here and we communicate and I'm telling you, okay, this is what I'm saying, and then by your reaction or by your response, by your facial expression, by anything, and sometimes I'm on the phone and I'm like, what's wrong? Like when I say something, because I can sense it. And it's like, okay, so tell me what you understood so that then I can reword it in a way that you can understand what I'm trying to say. Because maybe I have to use the type of words that I'm using, maybe are triggering you in a certain way. So I go ahead and I'm just like, you know what? No, this has to be brought up to the surface, because if it isn't, then is going to just continue on happening. And in order for me to let it go, and it's not about, this is the thing, because a lot of people are going to say that it's about control. It's not about control, but it's, if you don't set the boundaries, if you don't let people know what you will and won't accept, then you, in an essence, cannot get upset when people are doing the things that you don't want them to do towards you, because you have never spoken about it. You have never opened up about it. And that's my perspective on things. So I have always been viewed as a mean person. I say things to hurt people. No, I don't say things to hurt people. But I believe that if you are my cousin, if you are my sister, if you are my mother, if you're my father, whomever, if you consider yourself to be a friend to me, and I see that you are doing something that is, in essence, hurting you and hurting somebody else, I'm going to speak about it. If I see you doing something that truly is hurting you, I'm going to tell you, because I want to not prevent, but I want to help you get through this healing process faster, because it is a freaking bitch. It hurts. And it hurts, I feel, when we have to go through this, where we feel like alone, because every time that I've tried to reach for help, every time that I've tried to reach for, that understanding, like, oh my God, I understand what you're going through, even though not to the same extent, but I feel you're in pain. Instead of Oh, if you don't snap out of it, I'm gonna do this. Or if you don't snap out of, so then what do? We shut down. We stop communicating with people. We stop engaging with people, because at this point it's like you feel so alone that you feel like you feel like there's nobody out there that's ever going to understand you, and that hinders your healing process, because you kind of like just stop. Like, am I doing the right thing? Am I saying the right things? Am I really wrong for stating the things that I will and will not accept? And that is what it becomes. No, Zena, no. She's gonna start barking. There is squirrels and stuff outside. So I apologize, but I guess that's my cue for Zena. I only had her for 3 weeks, so we are still learning. Well, thank you guys for watching, and I hope that somebody got something out of this.